Right now we're hiking to what might be one of the most popular waterfalls in all of Oregon. And the nice thing about hiking in the off season like this, there's literally only like 4 other vehicles here. Whereas if I came here in the winter or in the summertime, it would be a full lot, that's for sure. So this waterfall that we're headed to right now is actually part of the Timberline Trail, which is a 40-mile trail that circumnavigates all of Mount Hood. Magnificent trail. I did it earlier this summer for the first time, and it was definitely worth a hike. I would recommend if you're into backpacking. But anyways, this falls is one of the stops along the way. And so earlier this year, I actually camped at the waterfall. I'll show you guys the specific spot because we managed to get a really good spot even though it was pretty much all filled up, so that was pretty exciting. So in the early spring and summer, that little river that we just crossed is actually a roaring glacial river, and the crossing is a lot more sketchy. Usually there's like a big tree trunk across of it as a single bridge structure, but it could get really sketchy. People have died there by falling in, getting taken downstream. You don't want to mess around with fording rivers. This Mount Hood Trail, or the Timberline Trail that I was talking about earlier, there's a lot of glacial river crossings, so you got to be comfortable doing that. And most of them you're fording. You're actually getting into the river and crossing on foot. Check out that tree. It's got a little curve to it. Almost looks like a umbrella handle or something. Maybe an upside down candy cane. Fishing hook. Got a little bit of residual snow on the ground over here. All right, y'all. The waterfall is in earshot. I can hear it. You guys probably can't hear it just yet, but you will soon enough. Right around the corner. This is where I camped when we hiked the Timberline Trail. Perfect little tucked away spot right along this peaceful little stream here. It's a little bit better than camping too close to the falls because that typically gets like really congested with people and other campers. Over here, there's like a little oasis. Kaya. Speak. Speak. Good. Good girl. She knows it by hand command too. Watch this, Kaya. There you go. Well, I did bring like a little instant coffee packet because I was totally imagining myself sipping on a nice hot coffee right in this exact very beautiful spot. But it's getting kind of late in the day and I want to make it back to the truck before it gets dark out. Ideally, I'll have enough time to go find another spot, but at least I want to get out of here before it gets dark. So unfortunately, don't really have time for my coffee. $2:40 might not exactly sound too late to you guys, but here in the north, it'll be dark in about 2 hours. And I've got just about 3.5, maybe 4 miles to hike back down to the truck. So it's gonna be a little bit of a squeeze, but we can do it. We've made it back to the truck just in the nick of time to hopefully go find ourselves a camp spot. I'm tempted to just post up here in the parking lot for the night. I know that it would be totally fine, but I also don't want to be woken up tomorrow if anybody happens to come hit the trail really early. So there should be plenty of spots in this area that I'm at right now. I saw a ton driving in, so we should be able to secure a spot in the next hopefully 10-15 minutes. And I know the camera is super foggy right now, so I apologize for that. All right, folks, we have made it to camp for the night, just in the nick of time. It's starting to get dark now, so the timing really couldn't have worked out more perfectly. It also started to drizzle. It's not raining too hard, but it's just the perfect amount of drizzle to keep things that much more cozy and peaceful. So I'm excited to get dried off and warmed up. So let's head on into the cabin. Got some pretty exciting news to share with you guys. While I was on my little 2-week hiatus away from YouTube, I was actually really busy with a bunch of projects that were honestly long overdue, and I needed to just buckle down and carve out the time to get all that stuff taken care of. So that's where I've been the last couple of weeks, working on some big projects that, in my opinion, really just have the rig pretty much fully dialed for now. Of course, a rig is never fully dialed, and I have an infinite laundry list of different things that I want to do. But I would say that as it sits right now, the cabin is dialed enough for me to hit the road and be on the road for an indefinite period of time. So basically, what I got done was on the truck, my glow plugs were pretty much shot and no good. The truck was having a really hard time starting in moderately cold temperatures, not even that cold. And so I was worried that with winter coming, the truck wasn't reliable enough to start in the dead of winter, you know, once it's snowing out and below freezing temperatures. So I finally changed my glow plugs, and I also at the same time did my valve cover harnesses, my valve cover gaskets, and my under valve cover wiring harnesses. So I did all of that. And not only that, but on the truck, I also installed a brand new Denso gear reduction starter. And let me tell you, the truck fires on extremely strong now. Before, there was a few times where I was a little bit worried if the truck was gonna fire up or not. And so it feels good to finally get the glow plugs done and out of the way. The next big project that I got done while I was away was I finally got to building up the camper's electrical system. Now, for the longest time, I just had a skimpy little 100 amp hour lithium battery hooked up to a couple solar panels, and it was extremely basic and bare bones. The electrical pretty much only powered the lights, and I had an external power station to run my fridge, but that setup always caused me problems. I was always having to stop and spend way too much time using solar to charge up the system. So I knew that I wanted to beef up the camper's actual electrical system, and I finally got that done. So this is the new electrical system. I'll put a clip here of what it looked like before, and you can compare the difference. This is quite a bit more built out. It's a lot safer. The previous build didn't have any kind of safety precautions. This is what we've got going on here now. I've got a 300 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery made by Waterfall. And now Waterfall actually did send me this battery for free, but I specifically reached out to them because I did my own research, and from that research I concluded that this was a really good budget-friendly lithium battery. The thing that I like about this one the most is that it is self-heating. So, you know, I like to do a lot of winter camping, and with lithium batteries, a lot of the time they don't charge once it gets below, I think, 30 degrees or 32 degrees. And so I needed something that would be able to heat up and actually be able to charge in the cold weather, because I do a lot of snowy camping. So that was really the feature that caught my eye the most. They also have a really cool app that your phone connects to, and you could actually monitor your battery levels and your input, your output, all of that, those metrics right in the app. I'm not a very technical person, but it's cool to see the actual percentage of the battery. But anyways, yeah, that 300 amp hour should be more than enough for my needs. And the best part is the fridge is now actually hooked up to charge off of, or to run off of the camper's battery, whereas before it was running on the power station. And that just wasn't very conducive to being on the road. On a side note, I believe that Waterfall right now is running a pretty good Black Friday sale. So if you're curious, go ahead and check them out. This video isn't sponsored by them. They sent it to me for free, but they didn't tell me to say anything specific. All of these opinions are my own, basically. And so far so good. This little device right here is pretty much the crux of the entire electrical revamp that I did. This is the Victron 50 amp DC to DC charger, and it basically allows my truck to charge my battery system while I'm driving. And this is an absolute necessity in my opinion. I don't know how I've survived without it. At this point, with this piece alone, combined with my solar panels, I could be pretty much totally, completely off grid. So this thing, super stoked about this, and I'm excited to see how this thing improves time on the road. Now that all of that stuff is taken care of, we're gonna be able to get out there on much longer, cooler, and just better adventures in the very near future. So I hope that you are as excited about that as I am. Go ahead. It's Thanksgiving week, folks, and I figured that I'd come up here and cook myself a simple little Thanksgiving meal in the truck cabin. Now, unfortunately, I don't have an oven in the cabin. In my previous camper, I had an oven, and I kind of took it for granted. It's really nice to have an oven, especially when you're trying to cook holiday-style recipes. The oven is really like the main piece of equipment, but regardless, either way, I was able to find a couple stovetop recipes, and since it's just me, I'm not going too all out, not going too crazy. I'm gonna be making 2 different dishes, the first of which is stuffing, and these are all of the bread cubes that I prepared last night. I cut them into cubes, let it all kind of hang out on a sheet pan on the counter overnight. That way the bread could start to dry out and stale up a little bit. And they've just been in this open bag, chilling like that for the last little while. So we've got the stuffing right there. We've got the other main dish right here, and it's this uncured Carver ham. And it actually came with this like honey glaze on the side. So we'll be having ham and stuffing this Thanksgiving. Last thing I'll be chopping up is some fresh sage. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add a big old stick of butter here. That's 6 tablespoons. Now over on this burner, I'm gonna go ahead and start heating up 2 cups of this turkey bone broth. Not many better smells out there than a whole bunch of onions and garlic being sauteed in a bath of butter. The onions and garlic have been sweating for about 10 minutes now, and everything is turning nice and soft. Starting to get a little bit of color on the edges. Go ahead and add some freshly chopped sage and some dried thyme. Just go ahead and give that all a stir. All right, our broth is boiling. I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt to the broth. Now the bread is totally coated with all of the butter, onions, garlic, and the herbs, all of that deliciousness. So now I'm gonna take my hot turkey broth and we're gonna kill the heat, throw a lid on it, and we're just gonna let that camp out just like that for the next little while. This particular ham is an uncured Carver ham. I've actually never had a ham like this, at least not to my knowledge, but I saw it at Trader Joe's and I was like, all right, well, that sounds pretty good. And the best part is that it comes with this little side of sauce. This is a ham glaze mix. In the ham glaze mix, we've got cane sugar, brown sugar, and spices. I like how it just says spices. It doesn't tell you exactly what flavor to expect, but it tells you there'll be spices. Now, the way you're supposed to heat up a ham like this is you're supposed to do it in the oven, like most holiday dishes, honestly. But I think that it'll be fine if I just pan sear it. So I think what I'll do is I'll just have one good big thick slab. I think that's a good place to start. All right, we're gonna add a few tablespoons of water. Into that goes our glaze packet. I just realized I totally should have only made like a little bit of this, save the rest of the powder. Go ahead and just stir that all up. Got our nice thick, perfect cut of ham here. I'm gonna go ahead and sear that guy. And there you have it, folks. Thanksgiving dinner for one. I know it's a little bit different. The stuffing doesn't really look like your traditional stuffing because normally you would cook stuffing in an oven, but all I have is a stovetop. But truthfully, I think that this is more than enough. This is going to be delicious, and it might even be a little bit better. But anyways, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Stuffing turned out great. Honestly, I don't exactly remember the last time that I washed my pocket knife with soap and water, but this is going to be my best utensil, my best cutting utensil for this ham. There it is. Oh. I'm not playing with you guys. That is a good freaking ham. Pairs really well with this stuffing. If you guys see this ham, I would definitely give it a shot. Carver ham. The glaze has a really nice sweetness to it. At first I tasted it right out of the pot, and I thought it was going to be a little bit too sweet. But when you actually brush it onto the ham mixed with the sweetness from the glaze, it really creates a complementary, well-balanced, perfect flavor. I can't believe this was just like a store-bought, pre-made glaze. That is some good stuff. When did you get there, huh? Now, I don't want to give her any pieces of the glazed ham, obviously, but I am giving her pieces of the raw ham. And when I say raw, I mean just non-glazed, non-cooked, because it is fully cooked ham. You basically are just heating it up. Happy Thanksgiving. This girl is spoiled. She is beyond spoiled, and she does not even know it. The things we do for our dogs, right? Of course, no Thanksgiving meal is complete without dessert, so we've got my favorite here, pumpkin pie, and I couldn't be more excited. Don't really have a pie knife with me, so I'm gonna use the spatula. Here's what I got. Alright, get a little more than that. That was kind of a small piece there. There we go. As a kid, my family would always use this Cool Whip with pumpkin pie, and I gotta say, I haven't had this stuff in years, and I think it's gonna be so good on this pie. I'm really excited for this pumpkin pie right now. Pumpkin pie's gotta be one of my top Thanksgiving dishes, if not the best. Really, I think the only other dish that could possibly top it is a sweet potato casserole, which I make a really good one. But anyways, pumpkin pie in Cool Whip
is what we've got tonight, and I'll take it. Got a nice ice cold milk to wash it all down with. This just proves how good pumpkin pie is. This is just like a relatively cheap pumpkin pie that I picked up at Fred Meyer's. Nothing fancy, nothing special, and it's delicious. It's kind of hard to go wrong with pumpkin pie. Am I right?
Good morning. Go ahead. It's always so lovely the morning after a rainy night when you're in the forest. Everything feels so fresh. The air is crisp. You could almost smell the freshness in the air. There's gentle raindrops dripping down. Birds are quietly chirping. It feels like a scene out of Snow White or something. So peaceful. Woo! You know, I've got a lot of stuff to be thankful for this year. What I'm truly thankful for is all of you guys. I don't know if I say this enough, but I really appreciate all of you who subscribe to the channel, all of you who watch my videos, leave likes, comments, those of you who are subscribed to me on Patreon, even though I'm not currently uploading anything extra onto Patreon. Your support really means the world to me, and I truly would not be able to be out here doing this if it wasn't for you guys. And I just want you to know that I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and it means a lot. It really means a lot. So this Thanksgiving is dedicated to you guys out there. Cheers. So now that the electrical system is fully built out and the new glow plugs are in the truck should be running normally. We should be hitting the road very soon. For the last month or two, I've been doing a lot of these short one-night trips, and it's been fun. It's been nice to explore the local area. But what I truly yearn to do is be on the road. That's kind of the point of this channel, I would say, is being on the road. So I hope you guys are excited for that. If there's any places that you want to see me check out, any states, any regions, directions to point the compass, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'm always open to suggestions, and I would love to see some new places. I feel like I've seen a lot of spots in the West, but I'm open to seeing a lot of new spots as well. All right, folks, that is gonna be a wrap on that one, I hope everyone out there had a great Thanksgiving. I hope that you were able to spend some good quality time with family, loved ones, etc. I also hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, as always, for watching, and we'll see you very soon in the next one. Peace.